got my homeboy Pete Frank with me, and we letting everybody know who got a dream. Yo, stay focused. Keep moving forward. It's on the way. Keep that dream alive. If you got a dream, don't look to the left, nor the right, let's go.
Your faith is in Jesus. Completion is here before you even begin. Dreaming big in my life in the future. Already knowing that it's not far. Having the passion to work towards Jesus. I'm gonna keep my faith and swagger going hard. Don't do the right. Just look straight. You don't have to fear no.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Yolanda Jerry Show. I am your host, Dr. Yolanda, and I also want to say Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. I know I'm a veteran, but I want to make sure that I'm also honoring you as well. So I am very excited about our special guest tonight, and this lady is ready to tell us a little bit about her story, the trauma that she's went through, and how her purpose was birthed because of her pain. But before we get into all the things that we're going to talk about tonight, I'm going to ask you again to please share this broadcast, tag some family and some friends in, and then we'll get ready to get down to the conversation and have this real conversation with our special guest tonight. So again, please share the broadcast and we'll be right back.
Welcome to the Dr. Yolanda Jerry Show, where you will hear stories from people who have experienced hell on earth and have walked past hell to share their stories. You will also hear what they are doing now and how their businesses, nonprofits, and ministries were birthed from their past trauma. So let's empower the world, one story at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Yolanda Jerry.
And we are back. As I say, welcome to the Dr. Yolanda Jerry Show. I am your host, Yolanda. And again, happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there around the globe. So tonight we have a special guest, none other, and her name is Vandella Wells. So let me tell you a little bit about who Vandella Wells is. Vandella Wells is an author and a businesswoman. She has writings that have been featured in Unapologetically Winning and the best-selling book For a Mother's Heart books. She's the founder of a women's ministry, From Hurt to Healing, Just a Coffee Break Away. And it's a movement to empower, encourage, and build one woman at a time. Vandella is also the founder of a clothing line called Simply Della's Fashion that is custom-made design for women and girls. So I'm going to go ahead and bring our special guest for tonight. And this is none other than Ms. Vandella Wells. Hello, Ms. Vandella. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
All is well. All is well. I'm blessed and highly favored over here, lady.
Hey, I know that's right.
Well, look, I just want to say thank you so much for taking time out your schedule to be one of my special guests for the Dr. Yolanda Jerry Show. I'm excited about the real conversation that we're going to be having on tonight. And I just want to make sure that, you are ready to be able to tell your story tonight. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. So if you will, I just read your bio and I just, told the listeners and the viewers who are tuning in tonight who you are. But I want to get a little bit more into who is Vandella Wells. Like, can you give us a little background of where you grew up and a little bit about your childhood?
Okay. When I was a little baby, I grew up. I was raised in New York, with foster parent, with my stepmama and daddy. And as a little child, so I had, as a little girl playing in the streets and, just having a good time. But I didn't know at the time, I didn't really know my mother because I was a baby when they took me, my stepdaddy took me to New York. I was a baby. So I grew up there until I was at the age of 11. Then I came back to Florida to my parents, to a woman that I didn't know at the time. But when I came at 11 years old, I went to middle school. Then at the age of 13, I'm sorry, then I got pregnant with my first child at the age of 13.
So you grew up in New York, and then during your childhood, you say you end up having your first child at the age of 12? Wow. 13.
Yeah, I was pregnant at 13. Yeah, and I had my first child at 14.
Okay, so pregnant at 13, had your first child at 14. Wow. So tell us about that. I mean, what was that like? And I know, where was your father and your mother at the time, during that whole entire process, and what led up to you getting pregnant at such a young age?
When I was when I was in New York, my stepdaddy told me, he said, well, at that time I started getting interested in boys. And he said, no, I'm sending you back home because you're not gonna get pregnant on my watch. So that's how I ended up back in Florida with my mother. And at that time she was, working, and she was young, so she was going party and stuff, and I was doing my own thing. And I found, trying to find love at the wrong places. And I wound up with a young man, and I got in a relationship. Then I had my first child, got pregnant at the age of, like I said, I was 13 and I was 14 when I had. And I had to make a choice between finishing school or dropping out and raising my child. So it was kind of a tough battle.
Wow. So your dad didn't want you to get pregnant under his wife. So your parents were separated at the time. Your parents were not together at the time?
Right. No.
Okay. And you were living with your dad. You were living with your dad
Right.
first. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And my stepdad and my stepmom.
Your stepdad and your stepmom. Okay. So knowing that you were with them and your dad didn't want you to get pregnant under his watch,
Yes.
in my mind, in my brain, it's like, what would prompt him to even say that? Was it some things that maybe they have dealt with that they've seen happen, and for him to want to send you back to your mom? Or was it an agreement they made together where they was like, you know what, I'm sending you back to your mom wants you to come home?
Right. I don't know if it was agreement or anything with them, but like I said, he started seeing that I was getting, that I was getting interested in young guys because they started coming around. So he started seeing the change in me, his little girl.
Okay, so it probably was something that he couldn't handle, with knowing that he didn't, I guess, for lack of better words, not knowing how to raise a daughter when she starts stepping up into becoming more mature and seeing that you're interested in boys. He probably didn't know how to handle that. So he felt that it was probably best to send you to your mom.
Right. That's what I'm thinking too. Yeah, like I said, he never talked to me about it. He just was, like I said, at that time, that was my stepdad. And he never talked to me. Right. And he never talked to me about it. That's only words I remember him saying that. And that's when I found myself on the way back, on my way to Florida.
I got you. And you was leaving your stepdad, going back to your biological mother? Was it your biological? Okay.
Correct.
I got you. So, and when you got to your mom, your mom, was she, happy to see you be with her, or, she felt some type of way? How was that relationship with your mom?
She was happy, but like I said, I didn't know her because, like I said, I was a little baby, so I really didn't know her. I got to know her over the years, but I was a little baby. So when I came, I mean, I didn't really know, I knew she was my mother, but didn't know her personal. So but she was young and she was, doing her thing, partying and stuff. So that's what made me start going out and partying. I was partying too. I was going at a young age. I was going out, going to clubs, partying, and then I met this young man, and then that's when the baby came.
Oh my goodness. This is a lot, to know that you went from a stepdaddy that kind of pushed you off to a mother that you didn't know really because you didn't grow up with her. And then
Right,
having to try to figure out how do you fit, even in that relationship or how you even try to get to know her. But at that point, your mother was still doing her thing. And so by her
right,
doing her thing, that kind of left you basically out there. Like, okay, well then
yeah,
if I can't figure out what was going on with my mom because she's always gone or doing her own thing, that left you to be able to do your own thing, which led to you getting pregnant and then having a baby. Woo! You know what, Vandella, that's a lot. Now, I want
that
to
was
ask
my childhood. That was my childhood.
you, so preteen or teenager getting pregnant at an early
Yeah,
age.
right.
Now, where was your father in all this? Now, I know you say you were raised by your stepdad and your stepmom, and you didn't later go to your mother until you were a teen. So, where was your biological dad through in all this?
Nowhere around. Nowhere around. And my mother told me, which all of this is in the book. I know it's a lot like you airing your stuff out, but this is all in the book, my book. My mother told me, this is what she told me, that he said when I was born, that he said he's going to go get me some milk, and he never returned. So,
Oh my goodness! So you go and get you some milk. You go and get some milk and never came back. Oh my
no,
God!
that was she told me because I was a baby, so I didn't know. He said that he going to give me some milk and never returned.
Right, that was the excuse she gave you. Wow, my Lord. Mm, mm, mm. Ooh, y'all. I'm gonna have to look, Vandella. I'm gonna have to get that book later on when we go into that link because I want the whole. I want the whole. I know we can only fit so much in this time frame, but I know it's gonna be a lot
Right.
more details and a lot more grit in
Oh,
that book.
oh yes. It's a
So
lot.
I don't want you to give it all away. I just want to kind of share. There's some individuals that are watching right now. Dr. Joe Harris, Tina Ramsey, Debbie Jones Albright. Darissa Frank Henderson. Tina saying I have to purchase the book. Leroy saying my Lord. And Tina saying wow. I mean, because this is a lot. We only been talking for like literally 13 minutes, and here it is, like, bam, it just hit us in the face. So
That's my childhood. That was my childhood.
you really didn't have a childhood, though. That's the sad part. Really didn't have a childhood. You was with your stepdad. He realized that you were starting to mature, and he threw you over to your
Mhm.
mom. Your mom was really not, present. I'm gonna just say that word, present at the time. Which led you to go find love somewhere else. So basically, that's like a form of abandonment. If you ask me, your stepfather done abandoned you and pawned you off. Now you're going to your mother, and your mother kind of abandoned you too because she was still trying to live her best life, right? And so
Well, yeah, I won't say abandoned because she was there. So, but it's just that she was young and still partying. So,
right,
at that
right.
time.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not talking about abandonment, like as far as like have left you totally by yourself. But I mean,
Oh, okay, yeah.
as far as like having that mother-daughter relationship is what I mean.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Wow. So how was that? So let's go into the part about you being 14, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now
What?
you had this baby. What was that like? Knowing that I'm 14 years old, I'm still a child myself, and here it is now I gotta raise another child. Like, how does a child raise another child?
And that's how I was thinking. That's just what you just said. That's just what I was thinking. Like, I'm a child. I don't know anything about raising no baby. What I'm going to do with another human being? I'm responsible for, you know. So, and then I had to make the choice of either finish school or stay home and raise the kids. But thank God, his the daddy, his mama, and his sister stepped in, and they said, "Well, I tell you what, we'll get him. You finish school, we will get him." And that's how he came. He got with them. So it's so he was staying with them till he got grown. But that's how he ended up on that side with his daddy.
So basically, because you were young, well, thank God for the parents of his to be able to take
Right.
in the baby so that way you can continue to do what you had to do as far as being educated and doing
Hmm.
the things that you need to do to continue to mature in your teenage years up till an adult. Now, how did that feel though, knowing that, I mean, I know that your child was in a better place, right? Knowing that
Right.
somebody was able to
Right.
give him the love and the nurturing and all that, right? That he needed.
Right.
Well, how did you even deal with that? Because that has to be hard. I know you had the child, you brought the child in the world, but you made the decision that you felt at the time that was right for the baby to be
Hmm.
somewhere else, not struggling, but you still have that void. I mean, the baby's not there with you. So how did you feel? How did that make you feel knowing that you had to do that?
I didn't want to do that because, like you said, as being a mother, I mean, that's my child. I didn't want to give him to them because I felt like I'm abandoning him. But I had to make a hard choice, and I had to make a right choice. It was a hard decision, but I had to make what was better for him because they was better to be able to raise him, to take care of him, and they could at that time have a better life for him that I couldn't because I was struggling going through school and trying to finish school. And I felt like if I drop out of high school, then I'm not going to have a better life because I'm not going to have an education.
That's
So it was very,
powerful.
very hard.
You that's powerful. I mean, amazing. You're a strong woman. you know, to understand that you had to put the needs of your child first, and then also understand that you still had to go and get your education. You'll find a lot of times that people who are in that same position, even sometimes today, would not have made that decision to, because they would have too much pride. It's like, this is my child. My child is not going to somebody else, or this is my child. I'm going to raise my child. But you were doing things to take the necessary steps. I'm sure as we get more into the show to be able to say that, hey, this was the best, and now this is where we are. My,
Right.
such a strong woman. Well, look, Vandella, we're going to go ahead and go to a commercial break, and then we'll get back into more of your story as soon as we return.
Okay.
Okay. And today's show is sponsored by none other than GoFig Company. If you're looking for someone who's, trying to get a website together or trying to, get graphics done, digital marketing, virtual assistant, executive assistant, GoFig is one of those companies that you can go to that you know that your stuff will be done and it will be done right. That website to reach out to GoFig is www.gofig, which is GEAUXFIG.com. Again, their website is www.GEAUXFIG.com. That is GoFig Company, and the CEO and founder of that company is Rita M. Green. All right, so Vandella, man, I'm still sitting over here just, I mean, you gave me chills, but this is, people need to hear this. And I'm just glad that
Yes.
you decided to come and share your story, because some people wouldn't even have enough courage to even just tell that they got pregnant at 14, you know, and having a baby at 15 at such an early age, and then had to give that baby to someone else so that way you can continue your education. So let's fast forward now that the baby's, you know, with a good home, in a good home, and you're getting your education. Where did you go from there, from that point?
Um, After that, after I finished high school, um, I went to a trade school. Then after I went to a year of trade school. Then of course, like I said, I still had them ways in me, partying and, you know, doing things that teenagers be doing. Then I got pregnant again at the age of 19 with my second child. So
Okay,
uh,
so now you got pregnant again at 19. So you still had some of that that youngness in you, right? Wanting to party, wanting to do these things. You did graduate though. You graduated from
right.
school.
Yes, yes.
So you graduated from school, went to trade school, and then you end up getting pregnant at 19. So what happened once you got pregnant at 19? You know, it's like you got one baby that's being taken care of. So now what did you do with this pregnancy?
Well, this second one, the rest of the kids I took care of myself. But I was at the time I left them with my mama because I wanted to travel. My the first child daddy, he wanted us to get back together. I didn't have the baby from him. The second baby was for somebody else. So the first daddy, he wanted us to get back together. Of course, I was in love, so he went to California. So after I had the baby, my mother, I asked her, can she watch me for like 6 months until I go to California with him, get myself together, and come back and get her. Well, get both of them. But it didn't work that way.
Oh wow. So what did happen? You know, you said it didn't work that way. You left for 6 months, you know, and it didn't happen that way. So what happened?
At that time he said we was gonna get married. When I got up there, everything changed. So I decided, so you know what, decided I want to get married. That ain't what he want. So I told him to buy me a ticket to come back to Florida. And that's what I did.
So no wedding, no marriage. You went to California pretty much for nothing.
Right.
And
Exactly.
then you came back to Florida. So once you came back to Florida, did you end up getting both of your kids back under your custodyship, or what?
Just the one. I never got the first one back. Just the one. Just the second child.
Okay. Okay. So how was that journey? Knowing that the other child was with other parents, did you get a chance to still see your first child? You know, was there any kind of relationship with the ones that had custody of your child at the time? Were you able to see him at all?
Yes, yes. I had a great relationship with them. I was
Okay.
visiting him every weekend. Yes, every weekend I was coming and get him and spend time with him. So I always was in his life. So, but I always, knew that would be best for him to stay there because, like I said, I had the second child. I'm still struggling as a young. I'm still young. I'm 19. I'm still young. So I felt like it was best to leave him there after I got out of school.
I got
So
you.
yeah. But I got my second child, and I was struggling raising her.
Right. So how was it? You say you were struggling. So what was that struggle like, just trying to raise your daughter?
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy trying to work and then put her in daycare and then trying to work. And at the time I was staying, I didn't have like my own place. I was like roommating with one of my girlfriends, and we was like roommating together because at the time I couldn't, pay for no room I'm gonna say apartment by myself, raising a child. So it was real hard, raising her and then trying to work and make a better life, but still partying at that time.
Oh my goodness, you're still a party animal, huh?
Yes, I was. I didn't drink or anything, but I loved to go to clubs and party at that time.
I got you. So if we were to, so how many kids do you have together all together total?
I have 4.
Okay. All right. So you had your second child. So when did the third and the fourth child come into play?
Well, I got at the age of 21, I got in the church, I got saved, then I got married at 22, and then that's when the other 2 came by marriage.
And so the other 2 came by marriage, and are you still married today? With the are you still
No.
married? Okay,
No.
so what? I'm about to go in. I'm about to ask questions now.
That's a deep one there. That's a deep one. Go ahead.
So you got saved. You went to church. You had your other 2 children in wedlock, right? But the marriage didn't work out. So what led to the marriage not working out? And then how were your children affected? The children that were brought into this world under their marriage, how were they affected?
You said when after you said after the divorce, how the kids were affected?
Well, how were they affected? But what led to your divorce, or what led to the breakup?
Well, he was on drugs real bad, and I was married to him for 11 years. So when I say real, yeah, like selling everything at the house, everything from the car to whatever you could tie down. So I dealt with it for 11 years, losing weight, like stressing out. I made my health, and then I had to make that decision. Say, you know what? I'm not taking my kids through this no more, or I'm not taking myself. So I had to make another choice again. But this time, this was for the best for all of us. Because, he was on drugs. And I said, 11 years, I couldn't do it no more.
So he was on drugs. Was he selling drugs too? So he was
selling.
No. Oh, he was just on.
Yes.
Wow. Oh my gosh. But he wasn't on drugs before you met him, though.
No, he wasn't.
Wow. Wow.
I know.
Oh my goodness. So how did
it goes deeper in the book. It goes deeper.
I know. Look, y'all gonna have to go get this book. Look, I'm gonna have to get the link to that book and order that book tonight. Oh my goodness.
I'm telling you, it go deeper.
So he was on drugs, and you dealt with that for 11 years. So your whole life up to this point, you were struggling because you had to let go of your first child. Your second child, you had out of wedlock, and you ended up leaving and coming back and having to take care of that child, having a roommate at that time, right? And then still partying and doing your things. But then you got saved. You were doing the right thing. You had 2 kids in this marriage, but then something happened. What I know you're probably saying you asked too much, Yolanda, but can you share with us what led him to the drugs, or how did he end up getting on drugs?
By being another thing, like I said, trying to find love, in the wrong places, not really having, I guess trying to search for the love that I wanted when I was a little kid. And I'm falling in the wrong hands. And I really didn't know him. I know he was in the church. That's all I knew. I didn't really get to know him that good. So I don't know if he was on it before. And, he got in the church, he got off of it and got back on it. But he said it led to somebody introducing him to it. So I'm not sure how it really happened, if he was on that before.
So you don't know what, before you ended up getting to a relationship, you're really not sure if he was on before and stopped. But when you got into a relationship, you was just looking for someone to love you, especially, and looking for someone. You say he was in a church at the time, right?
Yep.
So you were just basically doing what you thought was right at the time. You got this man that goes to church, you're saved and you're going to church, and then things start happening, and then you find out that from what he says that he was introduced to drugs and he started using them. And I guess it was just a downward spiral after that point. It just kept. Now, how long was that going on? You were married for 11 years, but how long were you dealing with him being an addict? And what did you suffer, during that time too? And when I mean suffer, like, were there some things that he did to you or because of the drugs?
Okay, it was 1 year. I could just remember 1 year of our marriage was perfect. After that, the last other 10 years that's when the drugs came out. He never like abused me anything in the marriage. With that, he just it's just that he was, you know, he always, the thing about it, he always worked. So you really couldn't tell that he was on drugs, but I knew that because the things that he was doing. But he always worked. He worked. Then almost at the end, that's when he started the whole paycheck. He was paying the bills and everything at the beginning. Then after a while, it started getting short and short. You know how the money started getting short. Then stuff started getting missing. Oh, I lost the check. You know, all kinds of stuff. Then I'm hearing people telling me that he borrowed money from them about because the children need shoes or we need some food to eat or something, which wasn't true. But it just started getting worse down the years.
Wow. So he, in the beginning, he was a functioning addict. You know, just like you know how they say a functioning alcoholic, he was a functioning,
Right.
and then it led to him. The more he probably used, the worse it got. You know,
Right.
and usually that's what happens with any addict. You know, you'll find that they end up being a person that's able to function, and once that addiction takes over, they start doing stuff that's not right. Start selling stuff out the house or making up lies
Yeah.
or doing whatever they can do to get the money to be able to get that fix.
Mhm.
And man, ooh, that's a lot, Vandella. Ooh. And the crazy part about this is you are sitting here able to smile. That's nothing but God. To sit here and still smile, tell your story, and show your strength right now for the people that are listening, for the people that are watching and hearing you share your testimony. That's powerful because you're not the only one that's really going through something like this. There are more people. Your voice, I'm gonna just say this, like I'm gonna say it because I know I am, when it comes to domestic violence and sexual assault. I tell people all the time, your story could change somebody's life, or your story could give somebody the encouragement to say, you know what, I can move on from a situation like this. Somebody might be dealing with somebody that's an addict right now and they don't know what to do, or somebody might be dealing with somebody, somebody might be a young age or a young teenager that could possibly be watching this and saying, you know what, this lady went through all this. I don't know if I want to, I don't know if I want to live like this. I might want to seek God early and, start working on me. So,
Right.
praise God for your strength. Praise God for you sharing your story and your testimony because this is needed. I thank you for that. And like I said, I'm gonna get that book because I know you shared a little bit more, a little bit more than what you're telling us right now. And I don't want you to tell everything right now because that's what we want. We want people to know the real grit of your story by buying the book and sewing into you, so that way they can read the story and then you never know, maybe be able to get another book and share it with somebody else.
Right.
So how are your children, doing now with all of this, knowing that mama has gone through all this, and what's your relationship now with your children, knowing that now you're in a good place, you're in a good, mindset, what is that relationship like with them?
Oh man, it's great. It's great. I mean, like one of my daughter, we FaceTime each other every day. So we talk every day on my break. We talk, but it's great. And my oldest girl, she's married, going to school for nursing. My baby boy, he's doing good. And my oldest son now, he's in Polk County with me. He's doing great. So we got a great relationship. He got his own business, his own food truck. So they are doing great. I mean, it was a rough road getting where they at now because of the things that happened in the past, but they're doing great, and our relationship is awesome.
That's good because sometimes you'll find that sometimes some relationships are still broken even with people at our
Right.
age, knowing that they're still blaming their mother or still blaming their father for the things that they had to endure, during their childhood because of our own selfish decisions, when we were young.
Right.
So I'm thankful to hear that you and your children have good relationships, they have good professions, or they have become an entrepreneur and doing great
Mhm.
things, and sometimes even their purpose has been birthed because of what they've gone through at a young age, knowing that they can look at you and say, my mama is a source of strength, but I also know I don't want to go through what my mama had gone through.
That part. I tell them that all the time. Look at me. I tell them, I said, look what I've been through, what I dealt with. You don't want to end up like that. At my age, you don't want, you're young. Start making good decisions and good choices now. I tell them that all the time. Look at me. Look at my life. You don't want to go through it, what I went through it. I don't want nobody to go through it, what I went through it.
Yeah, man. Mm-mm-mm. Well, Vandella, I want to talk about, some of the great things that you're doing. I appreciate you being transparent. I appreciate you being authentic. You know, I appreciate you just being a voice because we need more voices like you in this world. But before we get into all the great things that you're doing and that you have coming up and also sharing your book, we want to go to another commercial break, highlight another one of our
Okay.
sponsors, and we'll be right back.
All right.
And that is Mimosa Fest. So if you're somebody that loves mimosas and looking to go into, having a good time, Mimosa Fest is happening in May of 2022. You can go to their website to get more details, and their website is www.mimosa-fest.com. So again, that is www.mimosa-fest.com. And that is none other than the host herself, Miss Nicoya Tyson. All right, Vandella. So, today our show is about after pain, birth purpose. That was our title for today. And those of you who are just now tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in to the Dr. Yolanda Jerry Show. Our guest is none other than Ms. Vandella Wells. She has a powerful testimony and story about, having, children and being married to someone who became a drug addict and how she got out of that, and is now doing great things. So again, if you're just tuning in, please make sure you share this broadcast. Also, go back and watch the replay from the beginning. And also just share it with your family, friends, and your loved ones. Somebody might need to hear her story. So let's talk about some of the things that you're doing, because you say after pain, birth purpose. So let's talk about this purpose. What is it that Vandella is doing? How was the purpose birthed?
Okay. And I know this is like I said in my book. They have to get my book to get all the story. Now, this I had got a second marriage. This is really what brought the purpose out. The second marriage. That's a whole nother story. You really have to get that book to read that to see. And this is what birthed the pain. This is what birthed the purpose out. And so, and at that time, when after the second marriage, everything happened. It made me realize, sometimes you thank God, because if I didn't have the pain and then go through all the stuff I went through in my life, I would have never, the purpose would have never been birthed, because I would have been comfortable. Sometimes pain is good because it pushes you to do what already God put in you to do. And so, and with that, it birthed the book, Unfinished Business. That's when it birthed that book. That, like I said, that's what the second marriage. It birthed Unfinished Book. I'm gonna say Unfinished Business. Then after that, it birthed my clothing line. I started, because I always was sewing ever since I was a little girl. At a young age, I started, I picked up sewing in school. And it birthed Simply Della's Fashion. And then I went, I took that onto an online store. So that's why I custom make all my things, mask and everything else. I custom make everything with love. And then from there, then God, during the pandemic, God birthed a woman ministry in me that I have online. From hurt to healing, just a coffee break away. Because the hurt and the pain that I went through, now I'm healed. And that's why I named it that, because you go from hurt to healing. And now you're able to do and purpose in the things that God has for you to do.
Wow. So basically, it wasn't just the second marriage, really, right? It was everything that you've gone through, but that second marriage was the straw that pretty much broke the camel's back, and you was like, "This is enough. I'm not going through no more of this. It's time for me to get my life together. Make Vandella Wells a priority at this point." So I'm gonna tell y'all right now, if you want to know what happened in that second marriage, she's telling you got to get the book. She done already gave you part of the book, but in order to find out what happened in the second marriage, which is see, now let me get my debit card ready, because
Y'all heard the first marriage, that ain't nothing when you hear the second one.
Oh my goodness gracious. See, that's a cliffhanger. That's how you leave somebody on the cliff and be like, you know what, this lady now shared how she was married to somebody that was a drug addict. She done had kids, she had to and started having a kid at a very young age. It's just like, okay, I get it, girl. You know how to hook us. You definitely know how to hook us. But again, your second divorce is what basically was the deal breaker to push you into saying, okay, this is it. I gotta make Vandella a priority. And going through everything that you've gone through, like you said, it birthed your book. And then it pushed you dealing with this pandemic. I'm sure everybody had to birth something during this pandemic, because we had to pivot, right? And some people may have lost jobs or, whatnot, or had to find extra income coming in. So you've always loved to sew. And so it's like, okay, well, then, this is something that I can do. I might as well just go on and have my business, since I know how to sew, and start making masks and all these different things too as well. So you ended up starting your online clothing line, which is amazing. Congratulations to you.
Thank
and
you.
look, so here it is. We have some people say amazing births after pain. Tina Ramsey says, I'm getting this book. Drop the link, please. So Tina, let me just go and drop this link for you up in the comments. So you go ahead and get that book. So if you all are looking or interested in getting that book, please share with us, Vandella, where they can go to get that book.
They can go to Amazon. It's on Amazon. Vandella Wells, Unfinished Business. Or they can go, I have an author page on Facebook, Arthur Vandella Wells. You can order it on there. Or you could go on my online store, Simply's Della's Fashion.bigheart.com. I have some copies on that as well. So you got several ways, or you can contact me if you're near. If you're near me, you can contact me. I have some always on hand.
So for those that are watching and listening to, you heard Miss Vandella Wells tell you where you can get the book, or anything like that. But you can also go to the little short link as well. For those of you that are listening, you can go to bit.ly/UNFIN19. So that's again bit.ly/UNFIN19. And you can also reach out to her at her email address, which is Pierce Vandella, PIERCEVANDELLA at yahoo.com. All right. So Vandella, unfinished business. Y'all heard it. Unfinished business. You better get that book, because look, she just dropped it like it's hot and said it's unfinished because we don't know what happened in that second divorce.
Woo! I'm telling you. But it's good because it births ministry out of me. So sometimes when you're going through that pain, you don't feel like it. You don't want to hear that. You're like, no, it's hard. But once you go through it and you get healed, and you look back and say, wow, if I would have never went through that, I wouldn't be where I'm at now or doing what I'm doing now. Taking care of
Right.
me. I had to learn to love myself because I'm trying to find love everywhere else since I was little. I finally found to take out the time to love myself and find myself.
And that's good because sometimes we have to make sure that we do that so that we can love our children the way we're supposed to love them and they can love us back. And I'm sure that
Right.
that was that was one of the ways for you to be able to really truly connect with your children was when your children saw that mama start putting herself first and stop running after love and really start self-loving.
Yes. My
So
children
Vandella,
kept me going because doing that, there are. Mhm.
go ahead. Your children kept going and you kept you going and
I
go
said
ahead,
my
finish.
children, they the one who kept me going when I was going through that because I wanted to give up, but looking at them, I'm like, I got to keep going for them. So they helped push me, kept me going. Looking at their faces and looking at, I got to be here for them. I got to push through for them.
Right, right, right. Now, do you have any grandkids?
Oh yes, I have 11 grandkids.
Ooh, jeez. Look at you got four
Yes,
kids and you got 11 grandkids. Look at that.
I know.
Amazing. When you get to love on every last one of them because now you know what love is, now how to give it to them. Praise God. So, Vandella, if you were to, we always close out and ask if there is something that you would like to say to someone who may be going through what you're going through, or be it you have some words of encouragement for someone, what is that message that you would say to that person that's listening and watching right now?
I would tell them to never stop dreaming, never stop believing, especially in yourself. Don't matter how it looks. This is my thing, as long as you breathing and can wake up the next morning and got health and strength, keep focused, keep moving forward. Don't ever give up because even though you might be hurting or going through right now, it's gonna be, what I'm saying, you're gonna get healed if you keep going, if you keep trusting and keep moving forward. No matter what you go through, if you read my story and heard my story, I kept going. If I would have stopped, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be here where I'm at now. I wouldn't be the woman I am now. So I'll tell anybody, don't stop moving forward. Don't stop going. Don't stop believing in yourself. Find love in yourself first. And just let God work in you. Let the purpose and the plan that He has for your life, let it work.
That's powerful. And I love that how you said, just don't give up. Keep going. Stay focused. You know,
Don't give up.
put yourself first. Those are affirmations, right? That people need to hear. Those are words of encouragement that people need to hear more, especially more now than ever. With all of the crazy stuff that's going on in the world, things are just all kinds of things are happening around us that's so negative. We need to continually get
Yes.
that outpouring of love, that outpouring of somebody motivating and empowering us to be the best version of ourselves and keep going. We're gonna fall down, but we get back up. I mean, Vandella, you are a testimony right here that proved that you went through it. You went through teen pregnancy, you went through having a child again, in your teen, but later in your teens,
Right,
right?
right.
And
At a
you
young age, right? That's enough.
see,
I
no,
ain't gonna
y'all,
tell it
she
all though. I said
don't tell
right,
it
but
all.
I ain't gonna tell
We
it
trying to
all.
sell the book. We trying to sell the book.
I ain't
And
gonna
then
tell it all.
also endured two marriages and two divorces. So, but out of all of that, her purpose was birthed. and she now has a closer relationship with her children and her grandchildren. You can't tell me God ain't good. That's powerful. That is so powerful. Thank you for your message. I appreciate you coming on the show, sharing your testimony. I will be making sure that I purchase your book, and I might have to order some masks from you too. So I might have to go on there and look at their website too and order some masks, because I don't go around nowhere walking around. I don't care if you got a vaccine or not, unless you're somebody I know, I'm still gonna wear a mask. Everybody else can go on mask, but I'm wearing mine.
That's what I said. The masks we gonna have them for a while. So
That's
yeah.
right. And so even after the show, Vandella, continue to stay in touch. And, even after the show, go back and in the comments and drop all of your links down in there. Not just the one for the book, but for your store too as well. And anything else that you have going on, please continue to share. Let me know. And anything that I can do to support you by pushing information out, just reach out to me.
Okay.
All
I
right.
sure
Well,
thank you for giving me this opportunity. I
You're
thank you.
so you're so welcome. So welcome. So thank you so much for being my special guest. Everyone that has tuned into the Dr. Yolanda Jerry Show, I just want to say thank you for tuning in, taking time out on your Thursday. I know today is Veterans Day, so happy Veterans Day to those veterans that are out there around the globe. The Dr. Yolanda Jerry Show airs every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure that you tune in, share this broadcast. And if you're interested in becoming a guest on my show, you can go to my website at www.IamYolandaJerry.com. Again, that's www.IamYolandaJerry.com to become a guest on the Dr. Yolanda Jerry Show. And just remember, if nobody has told you that they love you, just know that I love you, and most of all, God loves you. Thank you all so much for tuning in.
Yeah.
Vandella, don't go nowhere. You stay there. I'll see you back in the green room.
Okay.
Have a blessed night, everyone. And thank you so much again for tuning in. Be blessed.